Howie Roseman just pulled off the heist of the century, and the rest of the NFL is officially on notice. If you thought the Philadelphia Eagles were finished making waves in free agency, you clearly don't know how this front office operates. We're talking about a move so calculated, so strategic, and so dangerous for opposing secondaries that it changes the entire landscape of the NFC East. But that isn't even the craziest part. While the Eagles were busy getting better, a massive blockbuster trade just rocked the league involving Jaylen Waddle and the Denver Broncos, and has sent A.J. Brown's trade value into the absolute stratosphere. Is Philadelphia building a legendary trident at wide receiver? Or is this the setup for a trade that will break the internet? Stick around, because the numbers we're about to break down prove that the Eagles might have just become the scariest offense in professional football. Before we dive into the insanity of these roster moves, smash that subscribe button if you want the fastest NFL updates on the planet. We're keeping you ahead of the curve every single day. The news is official, and it is electric. The Philadelphia Eagles have signed wide receiver Marquise Hollywood Brown to a one-year deal. This isn't just a depth signing. It is a tactical nuclear strike on defensive coordinators who thought they could just double-team A.J. Brown and DeVonta Smith all year long. This contract is a masterpiece of management, coming in at a one-year flyer worth up to $5 million. When you look at the market, it's a total steal. We saw Jahan Dotson head over to the Atlanta Falcons on a two-year deal worth $7 million. And let's be real, Hollywood Brown is a massive upgrade over Dotson in this specific system. Hollywood is coming off a season where he hauled in 49 catches for nearly 600 yards and 5 touchdowns, and that was in an offense that didn't have the gravity of the stars Philadelphia currently boasts. He is a certified vertical threat, a guy with the secondary speed that the Eagles have been missing for years. For a long time, we've been waiting for that true speedster who can take the lid off the defense. And Hollywood Brown is exactly that. He brings a gadget element that creates nightmares in the slot, but he also has the pure acceleration to stretch the field vertically. But wait until you hear how this signing actually protects the Eagles' biggest stars from getting injured. Why does Hollywood Brown matter so much for guys like A.J. Brown and DeVonta Smith? It's all about the real estate. In the NFL, space is the most valuable currency there is. When you have Hollywood Brown sprinting 40 yards down the seam, he isn't just a target, he is a magnet. He forces a cornerback and a safety to respect that D-ball. When that safety has to back up 10 yards just to make sure he doesn't get burnt, that creates a massive vacuum underneath. Think about the shallow crossers, the out routes, and the slants that A.J. Brown and Smitty thrive on. With Hollywood clearing out the deep third of the field, the middle of the field becomes a playground. This also helps Dallas Goedert immensely. If the linebackers have to worry about the speed in the slot and the safeties are playing deep, the seam is wide open. This is a pick-your-poison scenario for any defense. If you blitz, Hollywood burns you deep. If you drop back, A.J. Brown bullies you in the intermediate game. Who do you think is to blame if this offense doesn't lead the league in scoring next year? Is it the coaching or the players? Drop a name in the comments right now. It isn't just the passing game that changes with this signing. Think about Saquon Barkley. You cannot load the box against the Philadelphia Eagles anymore. If a defensive coordinator tries to put 8 men in the box to stop Saquon, they're leaving one-on-one coverage on the outside against 3 of the most dangerous receivers in the game. That is a recipe for a 75-yard touchdown on the first play of the drive. In this new offensive scheme, the focus is on positionless production. We've seen how coaches like Sean McVay or Kyle Shanahan use speedsters to create confusion with end-arounds, bubble screens, and jet sweeps. Hollywood Brown fits that gadget role perfectly. He allows the Eagles to get creative with blocking schemes, pulling guards into space, and letting a guy with 4-3 cook in the open field. This is the first time since the days of Quez Watkins that Philly has had a true burner. But unlike Watkins, Hollywood has the pedigree of a first-round talent. But while the Eagles were celebrating this signing, a massive trade in the AFC just changed the price of doing business forever. While the Eagles were finalizing the Hollywood deal, the Miami Dolphins and Denver Broncos shook the foundation of the league. Jaylen Waddle is headed to Mile High, to catch passes from Bo Nix. The compensation for Waddle was staggering: a 2026 first-round pick, a third-rounder, and a fourth-rounder. This trade is a game-changer for Howie Roseman because it sets a floor for what top-tier wide receivers are worth in the current market. If Jaylen Waddle, a phenomenal player but perhaps not yet a top 3 consensus guy, can command a first, a third, and a fourth, what does that mean for A.J. Brown? It means the asking price just went through the roof. Critics and rival fans have been calling Roseman crazy for demanding a first and a second-round pick for A.J. Brown. Well, who looks crazy now? After the Waddle trade, a first and a second for A.J. Brown looks like a bargain. Wait until you see the statistical comparison between these two, because it proves the Eagles are sitting on a gold mine. Let's look at the cold, hard facts. Since 2022, when A.J. Brown joined the Eagles, the numbers don't lie. In that span, Jaylen Waddle has put up 269 catches for about 4,200 yards and 20 touchdowns. Those are elite numbers. But look at A.J. Brown, 339 catches, over 5,000 yards, and 32 touchdowns. He has more catches, 1,000 more yards, and 12 more touchdowns than Waddle in the same time frame. On top of that, A.J. Brown is a 3-time All-Pro. He is a more complete receiver, a better blocker, and a massive physical mismatch for any defensive back in the league. If Waddle is worth a first-round pick plus change, A.J. Brown is worth a king's ransom. This is why teams like the New England Patriots are in complete shambles right now. They desperately want a weapon like A.J., but they realize that the market has shifted so far in favor of the Eagles that they might not be able to afford him. But does the Hollywood Brown signing mean A.J. is actually on his way out? Some people are looking at the Hollywood Brown signing and saying, this is the replacement. A.J. Brown is gone. But they're missing the bigger picture. Signing Hollywood Brown on a 1-year, low-risk deal doesn't signal a rebuild. It signals an all-in push for a championship. Why would you trade away a Hall of Fame caliber talent like A.J. Brown when you can pair him with a vertical threat that makes him even more dangerous? The Eagles have struggled with WR3 production for years. We saw it with Zach Pascal, Olamide Zaccoz, and most recently with Jahan Dotson. None of them provided the explosive element needed to make this offense truly unstoppable. By bringing in Hollywood, the Eagles have created a trio that rivals any in NFL history. You have the bully, A.J. Brown, the technician, DeVonta Smith, and the blur, Hollywood Brown. Even if the Eagles decide to draft another receiver in a very deep 2026 class, there is no pressure on that rookie to perform immediately. They can sit, learn, and develop while the big three dismantle defenses. Howie Roseman has built a roster that is flexible, explosive, and financially responsible. It truly is Howie's season in Philadelphia. But there is one massive question left. Can the coaching staff actually handle all this talent, or will it be a disaster like last year? All the talent in the world doesn't matter if the scheme is over its skis. We saw the Eagles' offense stagnate at times over the last 2 seasons because the play calling became predictable. However, the 2026 version of this offense is designed to be well-rounded. By looking at the Shanahan tree of coaching, guys like McVay, LaFleur, and O'Connell, the goal is to involve everyone. The inclusion of Hollywood Brown allows for more pre-snap motion, more illusion of complexity, and more ways to force the defense to reveal its hand before the ball is even snapped. If the defense stays in a base look, you run Saquon. If they shift to stop the run, you launch it to Hollywood. If they play soft zone, A.J. Brown eats them alive in the gaps. Is this the year the Eagles return to the Super Bowl? With a roster this stacked, anything less will be seen as a total failure. The pressure is on, the pieces are in place, and the league is terrified. Would you like me to break down the potential rookie wide receiver targets the Eagles might still pursue in the draft to make this room even deeper?